Yes, I did say when I first arrived here that I would have to do a lot more listening than I had done in other jobs, and I think that's fair enough. You can tell from my accent I'm not Scottish. My business is newspapers and storytelling and the art of storytelling and leading teams to do storytelling and the packaging and bringing forward of information. I was obviously very knowledgeable of Scotland, but clearly I was never going to come here pretending that I was an expert. That isn't my skill. So that has helped shape the Scotsman in ways that there was no prejudice from me. You know, editors can lead from their own prejudice and get people to fit into that. I had to listen to a team of experts. We went out and spoke to a lot of people, a lot of the great and the good in Scotland, about what they thought, and that's allowed us to navigate our way through what is an incredibly exciting time in Scotland, very skillfully in my view. The main challenges for the Scotsman in 2009 are primarily to keep our nerve. First and foremost, we must realise that what we've got here is something very, very powerful. There's a lot of doomsayers out there, a Greek chorus of misery out there, and it is tough. You know, there's no getting away from that. But fundamentally, why am I optimistic? I'm optimistic because we have a most fantastic brand that opens doors, that gets people sitting up and listening. It means something in Scotland. I'm absolutely no doubt about that. So fundamentally, to keep our nerve and keep doing what we're doing at the moment and keep trying to improve ourselves and trying to keep understanding what our readers want and what our users want and the information that is necessary for them to go about their lives. That's a challenge that was last year and this year and next year. It's just going to be done in very much more different, straightened times. I think the advertising downturn clearly is affecting the newspaper industry, and in a very serious way. We rely hugely on three classified pillars, if you like: motors, property, and jobs. And you need to live on Mars to not realise that those three pillars have taken a hell of a hammering. I think 2009 is going to continue to be pretty grim. As far as the advertising market's going to go. I think we need to be very creative in trying to find other alternative streams, as everyone else does. 2010 has some signs that will come up smiling a little bit, but I think we'd be very foolish to factor in any significant growth in 2009. Advertising in newspapers and the ink is clearly, obviously, a very static thing and about space and shape. But obviously the new ways of interacting with audiences and the way that text and news and advertising merge together, some of those old rules are breaking down when it comes to websites and other digital offerings. And you know, we're open to that, and we can see a lot of good ideas in that industry. Some of them will say, hey, that's a little too much. Others, great, let's work together on it. I think the newspaper industry has got a structured move to multimedia publishing. I think it's the right thing to do. Fundamentally, what we do and what we've always done is have people there who can gather information that other people want. That boils it down quite a lot, but it's fundamentally what we do. And the challenge is to make sure that we don't get stuck into thinking that that's only ever for newspapers. Newspapers will remain incredibly important to our business, but the whole range of offers that will be driven by technology, we must be alive to them, and I think we're doing it in a structured process. We're not forgetting the newspaper. We still love the newspaper, and it's still fundamental to us. But with our .com offerings, with our digital offerings, with our text offerings, and with our move into moving images and blogs and all the things that people are well aware of now, we've done it in a very steady but sure way. And more importantly, the people in the industry are chomping at the bit to get involved in it. There's no backwards thinking that this isn't happening. People want to get involved in it. Journalists want to work across platforms. They want to write the big write that moves people in the newspaper, but they want to quickly blog online. They want to give instant reaction online, and they're very, very up for being flexible on that. We relaunched Scotsman.com a year ago. We had to do that. It had to link into wider databases. It wasn't a question of us suddenly deciding, well, the old one was rubbish and we needed to change. We had to do that to bring in much more information from a group-wide Johnson Press-wide company, and that was a process we had to go through. I think we've got a way to go. We've had a good start. There are lots more exciting things coming along in terms of our ability to create instant websites and instant design online, which will happen. We're going to build channels. One of the things that is a real good challenge for Scotsman.com is channels of interest. Golf, outdoors, all those things in Scotland, the environment, politics, hugely interesting time in politics. What we need to do is package those up via our digital services and give them to people who want them in an easy manner. And that's a fantastic challenge. There were teething problems, as there always are going to be when you change from one template to another. It's a huge process. And there'll be plenty of people out there who say they didn't like what it is now and they preferred the past and vice versa. But I think we've got ourselves into a good position to move on in 2009, 2010 and become we're already the big player, but we're going to get better and we're going to be much more expert in how we package that information to people. Readers of the Scotsman are different from browsers of Scotsman.com, obviously, although there is a 30% crossover, readers of Scotsman and users of .com. It's about 30%. But obviously browsers of .com come for different reasons. I mean, they tend to be a slightly younger audience. They also come for specifics. I think it's the difference between newspapers and .com. They come for specifics. They come in wanting and knowing what they want and then hoping to find it. Whereas newspapers in some senses are a voyage of discovery, which is why some of us old guards still love them so much, in that you don't know necessarily what you're going to get when you open them up, and you find out information that you didn't even think you needed to know. But actually when you get there, you've found out something new and you've learned something. So I think there's a different way of using both things, and that's why they complement each other pretty well, I think. New Year's resolutions on a personal front, I need to start getting a decent backhand at tennis. Forehand's working all right, topspin forehand's fine, backhand is appalling, and that needs to work. And I need to do less ranting and more playing at the Scotsman's five-a-side on a Wednesday night up at Sight Hill. That's the first, as you get older you tend to rant more than play more, so that needs to work. Professionally, I think, again, just keeping doing what you enjoy and remembering what you enjoy about this job, because you can get sucked into the general air of economic depression that's about. And fundamentally, why do you get out of bed in the morning? It's because you come in, every day is different, every day is a new challenge. You learn so much in this job as editor. The table I sit at twice a day in conference, the things that you learn about Scotland and the wider world are a fantastic education, and it's still an exciting job. And for youngsters coming into us, it will remain so.